of something or someone that has caused us hurt or mental anguish. Make sure it's colorful and complete. Be thoroughly satisfied that it's a vivid picture. Read it to yourself and then destroy it. We need to express our emotions to ourselves, not to others. The true audience and purpose lies within us. Secondly, aspire and celebrate. Activities which has a truly beneficent purpose. He inspires others to follow in his wake and holding aloft a torch of wisdom in which other people will follow him. The art of leadership is in the ability to make people want to work for you while they are really under no obligation to do so. Leaders are the people who raise their standards by which they judge themselves and by which they are to be judged. The goal chosen, the objective selected, the requirement imposed are not mainly for their followers alone. They develop with consummate energy and devotion the skills and the knowledge which they themselves require for them to reach the goals which they have selected. True leadership is the ability to make people move to change. Take the example of Barack Obama. In his speeches, he has inspired so many people in this world to change. The wholehearted acceptance of the demands imposed by our higher standards is the basis for all human progress. A love of higher quality, we must remember, is an essential quality of a leader. The ability to lead comes from within, and great leaders are those with whom people connect with on an emotional level. The great leaders emerge from experiences that they have had in the real life. Take the example of Martin Luther King. He has inspired people from all over the world. The same applies in business. Those with the ability to relate to their audience and gain their confidence and trust gain their commitment as followers. It is human nature. Self-knowledge as opposed to book smarts is a paramount as it sets you apart from others and makes your views as original. He who would be a leader must pay the price in self-discipline and moral restraints. This details the correction and improvement of his personal character. To be first in place, one must be first in merit as well. He who has not learned to render prompt, willing service to others will find it difficult to keep the goodwill and cooperation of his subordinates.
Be honest. Okay, fine, let me begin. A history of smoking can be dated as early as 5000 BC. Ooh. Well, actually, something else which is very interesting and very common is that when you go to any kind of public places, you see these special tiny rooms and you see lots of smokers sitting there, breathing and inhaling the same air, the mixture of air that is nicotine and also the carbon monoxide out. Seriously, and these people don't even give a thought of thinking how dangerous smoking can be caused to other people. Because when a person smokes, he takes in the mixture of nicotine and carbon monoxide and he exhales it out. And well, this mixture is very dangerous. All of you know that. For example, let me tell you something else. If you look in the United States of America, you see almost 30,000 people die per year. Why is it? They get up every morning, mountain climbing, river rafting, jumping, running, jogging, everything. Still, why do these many amount of people die? Smoking. Well, actually, youth leaders, panel of judges, contest master, everyone, let me ask you something. What do you earn by smoking? Can you earn happiness? Can you finish your anger? Nothing. So you go outside, you go outside of the house, you take in some fresh air. But the thing is that when we smoke, we inhale the air of cigarette, which has carbon monoxide and nicotine. This mixture of air disappears into air. Let me ask you all a scientific question. Can we touch air? No. Can we see air? Can we feel air? Yes. Well, actually, this mixture spreads, later on it spreads into the atmosphere. Therefore, when a strong wind blows, this mixture or this atmospheric air just passes by, and when a healthy person inhales this mixture of air, does he know that he's inhaling such a components of air?
Vishnu Nair.
Respected contest master, Toastmasters, fellow youth leaders, and all the guests who have arrived here. A very good evening to all of you. You might have all heard of the famous author J.K. Rowling. Can any one of you tell me which was the famous book written by her?
Harry Potter.
Absolutely right. It's a world-renowned and best-selling novel, Harry Potter. Now, how many of you consider yourselves as the greatest fans of Harry Potter? That's great. Well, I consider myself and my father as the greatest fans of Harry Potter. We are so hooked on to Harry Potter that we would read 2 to 3 books continuously and sometimes even without a break. My mother and 2 sisters would know what we are up to when sometimes the house is silent. John Catherine Rowling, or J.K. Rowling as he is popularly known, is back at school. Harry Potter, along with his friends Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, Luna Lovegood, and Neville Longbottom, go on adventurous journeys filled with magical experiences to have revenge on the dark wizard Lord Voldemort. Lord Voldemort also turned out to be the murderer who murdered Harry's innocent parents, James and Lily Potter. The combats between wizards with fascinating spells such as Avada Kedavra, which is the killing curse, Expelliarmus, which is the disarming spell, and of course, Expecto Patronum, which is the Patronus charm. These parts are so fascinating that we won't be able to stop reading them until, of course, they are over. Isn't it quite remarkable how J.K. Rowling has described the life of Harry Potter, that we almost feel like we are there? Then destroy him so that my name will become famous instead of Harry's, and because I got rid of Lord Voldemort for the entire world. This is an example of how my imagination has been stretched to unknown levels. I wish my speech was fascinating and has inspired you guys to go and buy yourself a copy of the Harry Potter, and so join me and Harry on this wonderful experience, which includes, of course, witches and wizards. Back to you, Contest Master.
Can we have 5 minutes silence while the judges tally the ballots? I must admit that we had quite an absorbing session with some very inspiring speeches. I think all the speakers did a remarkable job. I would like to thank you for being here to support and encourage the speakers today. Let's hear a round of applause for all our contestants today. With this, I hand over the power of the lectern back to Toastmaster Sadia Khan.
That was a fantastic contest. Thank you.
When you're cornered, or when it's pressed beyond endurance, a primitive force actually takes over. And then it tells you to fight, flee, or in some cases faint. Anyway, for the benefit of those people here who don't know what table topic is all about, let me just give you a small briefing. You have 11 scintillating speakers today attempting table topics, and they're all going to talk about a subject that I give it to them just seconds before they start to speak. It calls for great alacrity of the mind, it calls for substance, and they have to talk literally from the recesses of their minds, based on all the training that they have received on the stage. And for those people who believe that it's okay to whisper, it's not. So please don't distract the speakers, because that can seriously throw them out of gear, and we want to see them at their best. I've already explained the parameters. All the contestants except the first one will be escorted out by the Sergeant at Arms, and he will also ensure that their mobiles are collected before they leave the hall, so that there's no communication between the audience and them. The first speaker can stay here without his mobile phone, of course. And I would call each contestant on stage, and when they are here, I'll read out their topics twice so that they get very clear understanding of what they have. Best friend has beaten you in a competition. Describe your feelings. Youth leader Soumya Matthew.
Respected contest master, judges, my fellow youth leaders, toastmasters, and the ladies and gentlemen seated in front of me, viewing me right moment. So I have been told to speak on the topic, if my friend beats me in a competition. I can't think about that, but then I can just think about it in the right movement. So if one of my friends